Wouldn't it be nice if we could make $100 a day with this Polymarket bot setup? So here I found this post on X, a step-by-step guide how to make $100 per day. So I thought, why not look this through, see what he's writing, and then maybe we're gonna implement this in Raven and do a simulation and see how it actually goes. And if it goes well, we might even try it out in live trading. So let's see. So the target is $100 per day, and he will target the 5-minute up and down markets. There's a few different strategies. So the first strategy is the scalp, buy at 92 cents and then sell at 97 cents. Best condition, any market, any volatility, this is the workhorse. When an outcome reaches 92 cents, it means the crowd estimates a 92% probability that side wins. At that point in a 5-minute candle, the market is usually heavily one-sided. BTC has moved significantly one direction and most of the remaining uncertainty has been priced out. But 92 is not 97 cents. That 5-cent gap represents real edge. The market is likely to drift towards resolution, and as it does, you capture the move from 92 to 97 without holding through resolution risk. So that's the first strategy that we're going to try implement in Raven. And then we have strategy number 2, the reversal. So buy at 1 cent, hold for full flip at $1. So best condition is low volatility day, sideways BTC price action, high variance, asymmetric upside. When an outcome reaches 1 cent, the crowd has priced it at a 99% loser. In most cases, they're right, but in low volatility conditions where BTC is range bound, 99% losers flip to winners more often than 1% of the time. Here's why. In a sideways market, BTC oscillates around a central price, a 5-minute candle that starts with BTC moving sharply down, pushing the up outcome to 1 cent can fully reverse. If BTC bounces back above the opening price before close, the crowd extrapolates the current momentum, the market overpriced the continuation of a short-term move. Right, so a 1 cent outcome, the flip to $1 is a 1x return. So yeah, if we can hit some of these, we don't need that many to make quite a good return. And then we have strategy 3, the market maker, limit orders at 90 at 49 cent both sides. That's a 2 cent spread. Best condition markets with balanced order books near the opening of the 5-minute candle, highest risk. So this is the highest risk one. Yep. And the logic here is at the start of a new 5-minute Bitcoin up and down market, when the BTC price hasn't moved significantly yet, both outcomes up and down should theoretically be priced near 50 cent. The market maker spreads the gap between the best bid and ask, creates a capture opportunity. The bot places a limit buy orders and 49 cents on both up and down simultaneously. If both fails, it immediately places a limit sell at 51 on both sides. The spread 2 cents per side. If only one side fails and the other doesn't, you're holding a directional position, not a spread trade. This is the risk strategy of description flags. One side fails at 49 cents, market moves away on the other side, and you're now long a directional bet you didn't intend to make. Cool, so let's see. Yeah, okay, so that's 3 strategies. So I'm gonna try implement that today with Raven. Okay, so we're gonna have the Polymarket venue, and we're gonna select the 5 minutes market. So that is the following ID that we're gonna place. And so we buy at 92 cents, sell at 97 cents. Okay. So he did not mention whether it's going to be the best. So I'm just gonna look at the best bid. So we're gonna try to do these as a maker and not a taker. So we're gonna do a condition. And actually we want to do, did he mention anything about up or down? He did not do that as far as I can tell. market ID, no. Yeah, so I think we're gonna do it on both. Yeah, so we're gonna do two different. We're gonna do one for up and one for down. So this one is gonna be down. This one here is gonna be up. And then I also want a threshold condition. And we're gonna look at greater than, and then it was, what did he say, 92? And I'm gonna do the same here. We're gonna do greater than 92. Great. And then we will do a buy action for both of these. And let me do a buy here as well. And let's do $5. I mean, this is just going to be simulation. So I'm just going to do $5. And we will do it at, so this is here where we define the strategy type in terms of where do we actually want to place our bids. And that's going to be the best bid. Of course, this is something we can always test out. Like if you're not going to get any fills. All right, like this. And then he sets take profit at 97. So that's a 5 cents. We can do this. Yeah, we can do this in a few different ways. Let me just think. So actually what I think we should do is just do a take profit. He did not say anything about stop loss. So that's something we could, since he did not mention anything about stop loss, I'm going to set this at 0. And then I'm going to do a take profit with an offset of 5. So that's our edge, 5 cents. And let me see, stop loss mode. Yeah, since we don't have stop loss, then that's fine. So I'm going to do that again for this one here. Going to do stop loss 0. And then I'm going to do an offset for take profit at 0.05. Yeah, so that's actually all to it. Let me validate if everything is okay. No, I'm missing something. Right, I forgot to set the outcome. So this one is going to be up. This one going to be down. Like that. And then let's validate again. All right, now it is good. So this is the strategy 1, scalper. There's some things here we could tweak, but since you haven't mentioned anything about this, I'm going to leave that be. So we can, for example, do a rebind before open, but that's not relevant. I think for this, it might be relevant for some of the other strategies that we're going to do. And we can also put entry timing guards. So maybe we want to wait to enter within the market. So if we don't want to enter the first like 1 minute or last 1 minute, we can do so with these. But I think for the sake of this example, I'm just gonna leave this be for now, and then I'm gonna deploy it. So we have, let's see. Yep, so this one I'm going to deploy now for simulating. And then I'm going to move over to strategy 2. Okay. Yeah, seems like we are up and running now. So let's move over to strategy 2. So that took me, how long time did that take me to make that strategy? That took like, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe. Let's do the strategy 2. That's the reversal. So buy at 1 cent, hold for the full flip to $1. And I'm going to pass in, again, I'm going to select the active market here. So this one allows us to automatically rebind to the next market. And this is for sure something I'm going to work on here in Raven to make it easier to select markets. But for now, we have to pass in the IDs, unfortunately. So here it seems like it's pretty easy. So we just look at to buy at around 1 cent. So that is what we're gonna do. And this, I'm just gonna delete it. And I'm gonna paste it in like this. And change this. So let's say equal. Let's just do equal to. Okay, so we are following the strategy almost exactly except for the volatility. I'm not looking at the volatility, even though that is actually a big part of it. But for the sake of example, we're just gonna do like this. And I wonder if we're gonna do as an. I think I'm just gonna do this best ask. And here I'm gonna do best ask, and then I don't want to have any take profit. So to get rid of the take profit, we have to find it here. We simply just remove it. Set it at 0. We do it like this. Okay. And this one as well, we just set it for 0. Yeah, so that means we're gonna hold this until settlement. And I'm gonna change this one as well to the best ask as well. That just means that it's looking, the signal is looking at the best ask in the order book. So it's very similar. We are missing the volatility. We don't have that at this moment. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save this one. And when that's deployed, we can move over to the third strategy. So this third strategy is limit orders. So here he's trying to capture the 2-cent spread, and this one is high risk. And he's also saying this because if you it's limit orders, right? So you might not get filled on both sides. So given this, the way I see we can best implement this, although it's not the sure way, is we look for the edge and then we place 2 buy orders. We place, so we're gonna start with this one here. And then we're gonna do the outcome for up, and we're gonna do this one here. Also, this is gonna be outcome down. We're gonna do the best ask, the best bid, and here best bid. Here we can do the life cycle hook. Actually, we can also do it with. So we could do it in 2 ways. We can do it with the life cycle hook, and that will allow us to actually place orders directly on the order book. We can also do it with the take profit, but the take profit actually currently doesn't place orders on order book right away. It waits for the trigger. But we want to place it directly on order book, so I'm gonna do the life cycle hook here. So after after we get the first buy here filled, we want to sell it at a little bit better price. So he said immediately place limit sells at 51. Yeah, so that's a few ticks up, right? That's 2 ticks up. So the way I would do this is we could do it as the best ask, but then put it offset. So we want a little bit more. We want 0.02. That's our edge that we can pass in here. And we're gonna do the outcome as up, like that. And the same goes for this. But I think this should be okay. We can test this one out and see how that goes. But I do see that this is not exactly the strategy. So let's I think all this is good. So let's just recap for a bit how this strategy is. So okay, so that's strategy 3, the market maker. It's not exactly as I wanted, so I might tweak this up a bit, but let's just, for the sake of this, deploy this one together with the other ones. So deploy. Okay, just a quick check in. So we have the strategy 1 scalper, and now we are actually at a minus P&L. So actually, you can see here, we have actually a lot of good trades, you know, 6% basically across the board. But then we had one that lost it all. So one that was, yeah, you know, it just wiped out all the profit and then win. So I think what I'm gonna do is to just tweak this strategy a little bit, is to add a stop loss, a trailing stop loss. And I'm gonna deploy this update together with the other one, so they're both gonna run, so we can compare how this actually going to change the result. So now both of these has a trailing stop loss at 0.2 cents. So that is that's 20 cents away from our entry price. So that's going to be around 0.72. Great. So we have been running the strategies now, the strategy 1, 2, and 3 for now. It's been about 6.5 hours since I started them. So it's been 6.5 hours, and I have been monitoring these past 6 hours. So I have these 3 running bots for the same strategy, the scalper strategy. So the first one we deployed, that one we did together, 6 hours, 24 minutes. I did then another one. It's about 4 hours and 50 minutes it's been running, and now the latest 2 hours and 28 minutes. So let's go look at the sessions here. So if I go and find the first one here, the scalper. Now, if we look at the equity curve, it's actually working until it doesn't. You can see here how it slowly rises up. You know, it's scalping these trades and then it just drops. Scalping and then drops, scalping and then drops. And so all the trades that we're getting is really small, you know. It's a scalp, right? And then the thing is, we didn't have a stop loss on the first one, so it's every time we lose like, you know, $5. So that's why we're dropping so much. So for the second one, I added the stop loss. So if we go to the sessions and look at, it must be this one here. So it has somewhat of a lower win rate, and again we're also increasing a little bit, but then we're dropping again. It seems like we are not dropping just as much as before, which kind of makes sense, right? If we're looking at the losses, so for example here we have $4, and let's see, yeah, 2.37, 1.67, 2.4. So instead of seeing these $5 losses, these big losses, we have somewhat of some smaller losses. Now let's go and look at the latest one, where I actually, the latest one is this one. Let me go and look what I did. So I changed the trailing stop to 10 cents instead of 20 cents. Yeah, and let's see how that has performed. So if I go to, we can go and look at the live monitor here. Now this one is also not in a profit. So we can see here, yeah, some of these losses is like around 8%, 9%, 19, 8, 12. This is 14. If we go and look at some of the past markets here we buy and sell. So the strategy kind of works, but again, it's the downside. This, when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work, and then we just lose basically the whole profit. Yeah, again, here we buy, and here we have the stop loss triggering. And you know, actually in this case, the stop loss did not do us any favor. If we have just kept it, we would actually have won this one. And here we were stopped out again. So actually here it did not, the stop loss did not help us. We were stopped out around here. So I want to see one of these where we are saving. There actually hasn't been any. So you can go back in time and see exactly what the bot did. Right now, for this session here, we have really not been lucky with the stop losses. So you can see how we were stopped out right here. So this is has not been a very good improvement at all. So there's an example. So finally found an example where we actually saved a little bit. So We bought up around here, but then it just started to drop immediately, and we were stopped out here, and it kept falling. So this is one of the trades where we actually saved some. So yeah, so this has not been good, but this is something we can adjust. Maybe the stop loss is too tight, right? Compared to, maybe we should have done a stop loss of, we could even have done it at 50 cents. Just saving that, amount could actually. So I think for these, I'm just gonna let them run for a while. At least the original one, this one here, I'm gonna let that run and see how that performs. So that was the scalper. Let's go and look at the second strategy. So that's the reversal strategy. That has been running for now 6 hours. This reversal here is also not performing very well. So we have so far P&L of minus 345. Yeah, I don't think any of these has reversed. So we are betting, you can see here in the log, we are betting $5 every time, and none of them has reversed. So this is one where you wanna let it run for a while. Okay, so I'm gonna let this run a little bit more and then check back in again tomorrow. So that one is gonna run, and then let's see the market maker. And I think this one, I was really not happy about this one actually, the way I made it. So let me see the performance. So this one has minus $24 in performance. So that's actually not. Most of them is red. Let's go look at the performance here. That must be this one here. Yeah, so the equity curve is yeah, that's quite bad. That's quite bad. I think this one really needs I need to polish this strategy here. So I don't think this one is gonna show anything. This one is, we might as well just stop this one. For the scalper here, actually what I would like to do is I would like to try and change the stop loss. Let me see. It doesn't make sense to do trailing when I'm gonna make it, so I'm gonna do stop loss. I'm gonna do it at around 50 cents. Because what we saw before, when I made the stop loss so tight, then it actually went against our favor, simply because often it would actually reverse. So it would just hit the stop loss and then reverse and actually go in our direction. And we only saw like one time where it actually kept going down. So what I'm gonna do now is I just want to save on these dramatic losses. I'm gonna put the stop loss at 0.4 and 0.4 here. For take profit, I think I'm just gonna keep it as is. And yeah, I'm gonna update this. I'm gonna let this run for a while more, and then I'm gonna check back in later. Okay, so we are back, and the bots has been running now for the entirety of the night. I'm gonna check in on it and see how the performance is. Okay, so we have the scalper, the strategy 1, and the one you just saw me edit is the one that has been running now for about 15 hours. And then this morning I actually made some more tweaks. So let's take a look at the performance of the one we just changed with the stop loss at an offset of 40 cents. So we are at minus 22, so that is not good. Let's see. Yeah, it seems to be more or less same results. So we are getting stopped out. We are getting stopped out around 4 cents here, 2.45. This one was at a settlement, so we lost the whole $5. Yeah, so it's the same story as before. Nothing has really improved. This one here, in the beginning, it kinda kept within, these dramatic loss, but then we just had a very big loss streak here. So yeah, not a good strategy. Yeah, I do see the potential here, but it's difficult to capture these spreads without this downward risk here. So yeah, if you have any idea how we can improve this strategy, do please let me know in the comments down below. So let's take a look at the other strategy that I deploy. So that's this one. It's only been running for about 50 minutes. Editing the video, I realized that I actually didn't enter the trades at what the strategy specified, because I set my threshold at greater than 92, but what the strategy actually said was we have to enter at 92. So I just changed the strategy where it checks the price above 91. So that's basically where I enter. I don't think this is going to have much of a difference. I have the same stop loss as before, so that's the offset at 0.4 cents from the entry price. Yeah, so we see that it's gonna be more or less the same. Now this one has not been running for this much, but you can see here we are scalping, but then we're dropping, right? So we're gonna see exactly the same performance as before. That's what I'm gonna be sure about. I will let this run again. I'm gonna post an update video if this actually turns out to completely reverse the results, but I don't expect that to do so. So that is the scalper, and that one I think is pretty much busted as least from how it was described in the Twitter post. And then we have the reversal, and this one has been running now for 21 hours. And let's go and look at the performance. So we have the reversal here, and yeah, actually we did get one. So you can see here how we just lose. We had a period here during the night where we did not do any trades, because this is a feature of Raven where you can actually set a rate limit within Raven. So if it has done a certain amount of action during the day, it's gonna reject other actions. So that's actually what happened here. So that is actually a feature. And then it just kept dropping down, and then we actually did get one trade here. So you can see how we actually did get this. Let's see if we can find that one. So it's just -5. So you kind of need some kind of a bankroll here, because here it is. Yeah, so we had one trade. We made $495 on this trade, but still not enough to actually offset the losses that we got before. So I think it's an interesting strategy, but I think this is the same reason why it most likely doesn't work to get to buy the other side, like some people are suggesting on Twitter, where there's this strategy there where you buy the outcomes that is almost certain. So some people say, well, you have a 95% chance, it costs 95 cents. So yeah, most of the time it's gonna resolve the true, but then when it doesn't, you lose a lot, right? So I think for the same reason this doesn't work, you're gonna lose a little all the time. Then once in a while you're gonna get this big jump up, and yeah, as we can see, it doesn't work. But again, I think this one, just for fun, I'm gonna let this run for a couple of days, and if there's some interesting to show, I'm gonna make a new video about this and then report back. So let's go and look at the third strategy. So that's the market making strategy. So for the market making strategy, I have had it running now for 21 hours, and I actually also did another update which has been running now for 4.5 hours. So I'm gonna show you how that looks like. So let's go and look at those. So we have the market maker strategy here. Same story. We just drops. We were rate limited here during the night, and then after the rate limits was revoked, we just keep dropping. So yeah, this one doesn't work, and at least not with the configuration that I did. So yeah, and as I said also in the video, I was not really happy with the configuration. So I think that one requires more tweaks. And yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the other one I did. So that is this one here. So this one has not been running that long, and it seems to fluctuate quite a bit. So we don't see any trends. So I think this one I'm gonna let run also for a little while. And I'm just gonna show how I actually tweak this one here. So if I go and look at the current strategy, you can see here we have actually two different sort of node trees here. So basically what we do is we are following the description of the strategy a little bit more close. I'm looking at if we have any pending orders and our position size, and then what I'm going to do is I actually put the limit order directly. So I exactly put the limit price orders exactly as was specified in the strategy, so at 49. And then when that is filled, we go ahead and we place a sell match fill. So we are placing a sell order on a limit price of 0.51 to catch that spread. And then we basically just repeat it, and we do this both for up and down. So this one follows the specification of the Twitter post a little bit more carefully. But so far what we've seen is it still doesn't really work that well. So yeah, these strategies, these market making strategies, I do believe that there is potential with these, but we just have to figure out a way to limit the downside risk, because this is the risk of this, where you're trying to have a hedge position, but if you're not going to get filled on the other side, you actually have some kind of downside risk exposure. So that's what we need to handle. So yeah, that is all for now. There was 3 Twitter X strategies that I tested out here in Raven. I think some of them do have some kind of potential, but none of them is able to make $100 per day, at least not in my simulations here. Of course, simulations is going to be different than live trading, but yeah, if this is something you would like to try out yourself, you can go to raven.gg and then sign up for the waitlist. Right now we are in a closed beta, so we have about 100 users now testing Raven out, and hopefully we're gonna get Raven into a very polished state within the next few months, so we can release this to the public and also enable live trading. And if you don't know already, we also have a Discord server called Polytraders, which I'm gonna make sure to leave a link, invite link down in the description below. This is a free to join community where we have almost 2,000 members discussing about trading bots specifically on prediction markets. So if you're interested in prediction markets and trading bots, feel free to join the conversation. And with that said, see you at the next video. Bye bye.